What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got Scott Coker talking Jake Paul, Ricky Simone on Michael Bisping, Charles Oliveira asking fans what they want to see, and much more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. Now let's get into it. Charles Oliveira is asking the world who he should fight next, Conor McGregor or Justin Gaethje. Charles Oliveira is wanting to get paid and has consistently been making statements that he's open to fighting the #1 MMA superstar on the planet, the one guy who is basically a guarantee to make their opponent boatloads of cash, Conor McGregor. There's just a few issues. McGregor is still nursing a serious leg injury and is reportedly sidelined until at least late spring, early summer. Then there's the #1 contender, Justin Gaethje, knocking on the title shot door, ready to fight a grueling 5-round scrap for the lightweight title. For his part, Oliveira says he's ready to take on all comers and included McGregor on that list, and he's taking a fan poll on his Instagram page, reading the comments to see who the fans believe he should defend his title against next. Let's start the year with this poll. Who would you like to see fight with me? Oliveira has stated that he's open to fighting Conor in another weight division and not put his belt on the line. Still, what do you think of this poll? Also, we had a poll of our own, and we've asked you about the next UFC lightweight title fight and who you think would win. More than 13,000 of you voted, and the overwhelming majority, about 65% of you, think Oliveira will successfully defend his lightweight title against Gaethje. Do you agree with the sentiment? Let us know in the comments below. And now Conor McGregor has responded to Oliveira on Instagram by posting photos of him facing off against Brazilian fighters and a third photo of Charles Oliveira with the belt, with a caption that read, "Smoke the two of these." What do you think of Conor's response? And who do you think would win this fight? Bellator chief Scott Coker says he's open to signing Jake Paul. Business is business, and Scott Coker is open to being in the Jake Paul business, openly saying that he would indeed sign not only Jake, but also his brother Logan to fight MMA in Bellator, whenever they should be free. Jake Paul is only weeks removed from his highlight reel knockout of former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley, the second time he's beaten him, and earlier in 2021, he knocked out another former MMA champion in Ben Askren. Coker, who runs UFC rival promotion Bellator and is formerly the head of Strikeforce, lauds the brothers for what they've done so far.
They're putting in the work. You can't take that away from them, and they're getting better and better and better. What you saw with Woodley, that's a lot of hard work to get to that point. I've never seen Woodley get knocked out like that, right? And so, is it just boxing? Yes. So I always said, look, man, don't underestimate these guys.
Coker goes on to say that he would definitely give them a contract to fight MMA in Bellator whenever they decided to come over, after they've done their planned 10 boxing fights, which the brothers have stated that they wanted to do. As for MMA, both Paul brothers do have a wrestling background, with Logan in particular having taken 5th in the Ohio State High School Wrestling Championships and was even good enough to join Ohio University's wrestling team, an NCAA Division I program. But what do you think about Scott Coker saying he would sign Jake and Logan Paul to an MMA contract in Bellator? Jon Jones says he's locked in on studying his future opponents in the heavyweight division. We're coming up on 2 years since Jon Jones stepped into the octagon last. His final fight, a razor-thin decision over Dominic Reyes to retain his light heavyweight title. Just a few months later, Jones vacated that title to move up to heavyweight. And while a potential fight against current heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou never materialized, Jones says he's preparing for the future by studying his opponents as well as himself. Case in point, he posted an Instagram video on his account with a caption that read, "I spent the last few days locked inside my office studying myself and possible future opponents. I'm excited to figure out my next opponent so I can start focusing in my energy even more. This is my favorite kind of homework." It's unclear when Bones would fight next, but he has been working a lot with Henry Cejudo and the people at the Fight Ready gym in Arizona, praising the team for their hard work. For his part, Bones recently told a local media outlet in New Mexico that he's looking to fight sometime in April or even July at International Fight Week, and is still eyeing up the winner of the Francis Ngannou-Ciryl Gane heavyweight title unification bout that will take place later this month on the 22nd. But who do you want to see Jones fight against next? It looks like 26-year-old Brazilian fighter Clayton Rodriguez is out of his UFC Vegas 46 clash with Zarrukh Adashev after testing positive for H3N2 influenza. Although the scrap wasn't official, expectations were that it was going to take place on the January 15th card at the UFC Apex in Vegas. Rodriguez, a former Jungle Fight flyweight champ, was coming off a win against Santo Curatolo in September on Dana White's Contender Series, while Adashev was coming off a win over Ryan Benoit last July. What do you think about Clayton dropping out due to influenza, which has been picking up in Brazil? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the latest fight news. Ricky Simone talks about that awkward post-fight interview with Michael Bisping. A bit of confusion took place at the end of Ricky Simone's fight against Rafael Assunção, in which Michael Bisping seemed to get a little nippy at Simone during his post-fight interview. Simone had just knocked out Assunção in the second round of their encounter at UFC Fight Night 199 on December 18th. During the post-fight interview, Bisping said this was his first win over a ranked opponent, to which Simon said, "No, it wasn't. This is what took place."
Well, on that note, he was ranked number 12, your first ranked opponent that you've beaten. You will have a rank on Monday. Is there a name that you want to call out for us?
I've beaten several ranked opponents before. It's okay, Bisping, but
Well, you're not ranked. How about that?
Well, in a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Simone was asked about that brief exchange and stated that he had fought a ranked opponent before, Hani Yahya, who was ranked number 15th in the bantamweight division when Simone beat him via unanimous decision on February 2019. Still, this is what Simone had to say about that moment.
Well, I mean, I felt it was a little awkward in the cage. I felt that moment was a little awkward, but like you said, like I was laughing about it. I wasn't doing it maliciously, or I wasn't trying to make him look stupid. I was just correcting with the facts. And so, I mean, even if I did feel that way going in the back, like I did feel like, oh, it was awkward. I didn't feel in the wrong for it, honestly.
For his part, Bisping was recently asked about that exchange and blamed it on a producer who gave him erroneous information. But what do you make of Bisping's response in the cage? And what do you think of this whole situation? Amanda Serrano jumps onto Jake Paul's offer to Dana White, says she's open to fight Valentina Shevchenko. It looks like boxing champ Amanda Serrano is offering to fight dominant UFC flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko in the bid to support Jake Paul's push for better fighter pay in the UFC. Paul, over this past weekend, offered a challenge to White that, in exchange to increase minimum UFC fighter pay to $50,000, guarantee 50% revenue share to the fighters, and provide long-term healthcare to UFC fighters and alums, Paul would enter the USADA testing pool, retire from boxing, and fight Jorge Masvidal in the octagon in a UFC fight. Serrano, who has 42 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw in her boxing career, is now jumping in to sweeten the deal. Case in point, Serrano retweeted Jake Paul's New Year's offer to Dana White and posted this as her caption: "I will gladly sign a one-fight deal with the UFC to challenge Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight championship if the UFC agrees to Jake's offer. Let's make history." White saw Paul's offer and not only scoffed at it, he reissued his own challenge of having Jake Paul test for PEDs for the next 2 years in exchange for testing White for cocaine over the next 10 years. But what do you think of Serrano's offer to fight Valentina in MMA? Do you think she's serious? In an MMA fight, Valentina would win outright. But what about in a striking-only bout? What about a boxing fight? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. See you next time.